Good morning, Jess FM. It's Monday morning here in Lethbridge, Alberta. It's a beautiful rainy spring day, except for it's really thick rain again in the form of snow. So, apparently pausing didn't work. So, welcome, good morning. It's Bobby Farrell with Journey to Self. I'm taking a few deep breaths here at the Jess FM studio to center myself and drop from my head into my heart, because it's been my experience that living from inside of my body is a much more present experience than living in my head. So I invite you all to just take a moment and a few deep breaths and drop from your head into your heart and see how that feels in your body. I know for me, it's like this immediate reawakening. Like I could feel the energy move through my body. Everything gets a little bit warmer, and there's a little bit of a tingle to my existence. And it feels spacious and real and fully alive. And that's where I choose to live from. So yeah, good morning. Welcome back to your body. A check-in. I always like to start anything with a check-in. Where am I at? I am at this really present space, which isn't always the case for me. So it feels really present and spacious. So I was brushing off my car this morning again, and I walked outside and, okay, so clearly this was before I was brushing off my car. So I walked outside and I was just hit with like that blanket of silence that snow often brings, but not like the thick snow in the dead of winter that's like silent. It's like, I don't know if you've ever lived on the West Coast, but it's all I can relate it to. And a spring morning there where the rain is falling and the birds are singing, and like there's this hush, but this like undercurrent of activity and momentum and energy and flow. And so I walked out my front door and I was met with that blanket of calm, with that underlying energy, tingle, sensation, flow, vibration, whatever. And I was met with like the deliciousness of it. And so I was brushing my car off in this, I just heard state of euphoria. I was just like fully present to the experience, fully aware that it's April 16th, and fully aware that I don't care. It was mindful and beautiful and so alive and so pregnant with possibility. And so whilst I was brushing off my car, I was reminded of weather and emotions. And as much as I like to pretend I'm an all-season kind of girl, I am really not. And aside from the occasional day when I will go sledding or snowman building or puddle jumping, and take pictures of it and post it on Facebook like I'm this all-season fun kind of gal. That's not the reality. And quite often I look out the window and I rearrange my life so that I can hunker down and be inside. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Megan. And so I was thinking about this while brushing off my car in terms of emotions. So quite similarly, I find people are like that with their emotions. They will go out when they are this way and not go out when they are this way. So if you look out the window and you'll go out if it's sunny maybe, or you'll go out if it's rainy, but not if it's this way. And so in light of being fully present to your experience, my newfound realization is I choose my choice every moment. But I was going to say, I choose to live each day for what it is. And so I'm no longer waiting for the perfect days. I'm no longer waiting for the perfect emotion. I'm no longer waiting for perfection in any way. I choose, like I said last week, last week was a week I think normal people would have stayed home just because my emotions were so boiling, like not boiling as in angry, but like they were so close to the surface that anything could have tipped me over last week when I was doing my show. And but I don't choose to hide from those moments anymore. I choose to show up fully present and fully alive in all of the emotions, and I am challenging myself to extend that to the weather, because as I was brushing off my car today, all I was thinking about, other than thinking about this, I guess the other app that was running was going for a walk and just fully immersing myself in this rainy day. Because let's face it, this is how we rain. And it's beautiful. And it offered me permission this morning to stay fully present to what I was doing, to get wet, and to just be okay in the gray, snow, wet, heavy thickness. And so some people listening are being triggered by these words, and it's like causing this weight and heaviness, and so it leads me back to good emotions and bad emotions. And I don't subscribe to that way of thinking or speaking at all. Emotions are emotions. Weather is weather. It's the story we attach to it that creates the outcome. And that feels really profound to me in this moment as someone who hides. Good morning, Connie, who hides from the weather. I no longer hide from my emotions, but I still sure hide from the weather. So it feels really profound to me to just make this self-proclaimed challenge to meet the weather where it's at, moment to moment, and not necessarily pretend I'm happy about it, and not putting a story to it, and just being where I'm at. So it's not like this gray day caused me to be gray today. It's not like this gray day caused me great joy today. I am fully present to this moment, and that feels awesome today. So where are you today? Not physically, where are you? I guess if you want to tell me where you are, tell me where you are. But what does it feel like? What does inside of you feel like? Have you even dropped inside your body today? Have you taken the time to smell your tea and check in with self. And if you haven't, I invite you into this moment right here, right now, to drop into self and take a deep breath and see what that feels like. So staying with self and staying in my body creates this moment to moment check-in. So when I speak and I get excited and I get amped up, I can feel myself rise. And then when I pause and drop back into self, I can feel the settling. And again, it just feels so profound because in my experience, not so much anymore, but previously the habitual response of my body was to cling to the emotions that created a more of an upper feeling in my body, and try and stay there. But what I'm recognizing as I drop back down to center, it's just another form of discomfort. So even when I'm really jazzed and passionate, it's like up here and it's like always on, constantly running. And so, yes, it's a good feeling, but it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of motion. And so dropping back down into self and bringing that energy to a more centered place is brilliant. And I can feel it again go back out into my extremities, into my body, kind of checking in. I did a meditation last night in the red tent. Like I gave the meditation. I don't even know how to say that. I was leading them through a guided meditation. So, and I was fully immersed in this meditation. It was a good one, if I do say so myself. So, and in it, I brought everyone back to their body, and I sent the energy through the body. And I haven't ever done that in that particular way. And so my body has already taken that habitual response. And so this morning, every time I say drop into my heart, I drop into my heart, but then I can feel the feelers, the energy go down my extremities. And I had set the intention that last night that it'd be like a check-in and just a an overall, like, where are we at, what's going on. And I can feel the brilliance of that happening every time I remind myself to come back into my body and just doing like a once over. What's going on? What's happening? What's moving? Where are we at? And it feels really amazing, actually. Ooh. That's still really warm and really delicious, but really warm. This morning's beverage is Dandy Blend with coconut milk, and it has quickly moved to the first choice on my list, actually. I had my morning coffee yesterday and wished it was Dandy Blend. So that felt pretty huge in my world. For those of you who don't know, Dandy Blend is like a mix of herbs, dandelion being one of them. And it's really coffee-like, and I really like it. So, yeah. I'm going to send Jess FM off to a song this morning. Yet another oldie but a goodie that brings a smile to my face. We're going to do some ABBA because that gives me the girly grin. And yeah, so here you go, Jess FM. Mm. Mm. Yeah, so I'm just, yeah. Connie says she's at home because of snow, but that's okay. She's just going to make today about something different. It's about accepting what is and going with it. So it's not about rushing around, learning how to slow down both externally and internally. I hear that. I hear that. And for me, it's the constant reminder. I don't know about the rest of the world. I feel like when the sun is shining, I am like constantly on go. Good morning, Twyla. And just go, 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 go. And I feel like I have to do all of the things because the sun is shining. And if I come across a day when I just really want to relax and go inward on a sunny day, I'm like, oh, what a waste of a sunny day. What are you doing? Like, holy macaroni, you could be doing this or this or this or this or this or this. And I just don't choose that anymore. I choose to stay present to my experience. And if that says rest, then rest. No matter what the weather is. So maybe resting on a sunny day looks different than resting on a rainy or snowy day. But for me, it's just all become about honoring where I'm at. That means more to me than anything at this point. And that feels radical and profound, and the world may label it selfish, but I'm taking back the selfish title, and I'm actually high-fiving myself because really my life is about me, so why wouldn't I live it selfishly? That should be a no-brainer, I would think. Yeah, my life is about me. Your life is about you. So of course we should live it selfishly. Go, live selfishly. Woo! You radical human, you. But even saying that, like, sounds profound. Like, I can feel, like, the undercurrent in my body. Like, ooh, you just gave yourself permission and the rest of the planet permission to do whatever, whenever, however, as long as it feels meaningful to them. And I send that message out to people who really choose, like, love and light and kind of like the greater good for humanity. Maybe not just permission to be whatever. I don't know. So this feels like a good time to give the disclaimer that Journey to Self is really about my views and only my views. And I feel like that disclaimer is really good if it ends up on Jess FM. So Jess FM, it's a good time to remind you that the views and opinions on Journey to Self are mine and mine alone, and they don't in any way, shape, or form reflect the views of anyone else affiliated with Jess FM, because this is not about their journey to self. This is about my journey to self. So for whatever it's worth, you are listening to Bobby Farrell on Journey to Self on Jess FM this morning. Now, am I an official radio host? I don't know, but that felt very amusing to me. So amusing that I felt like that rush of energy to your head. Oh, so there's my good morning head rush for Monday morning. So yeah, I was relating the weather to emotions, to the way in which I live my life, and the fact that I give myself permission each and every day to honor myself where I'm at emotionally. But I have not yet extended that same courtesy to the weather and met my life where I'm at, despite what's happening externally. And so the recognition for me when I was brushing off my car this morning is that I want to go for a walk. And so I'm hoping that feeling is still there when I have the space and time in my life to go for a walk. And but on a larger level, I want to meet meet the weather where it's at, moment to moment, day to day, and not look out the window and decide from there. So I was talking this morning before the radio show for Magic Mondays about being in a place where I actually choose the food I eat by dropping into my body and asking my body what it needs. So I am fully in the recognition of this moment, of the extension of that to all areas of my life. And so dropping into my body every day without looking out the window and asking what it needs. So do you need a walk? Do you need a picnic? Do you need carrots? Do you need coffee, Dandy Blend? What do you need? And going from a place of that, not looking in the fridge and seeing what there is to eat and choosing from there, not looking out the window and seeing what the world has to offer me weather-wise and choosing from there, but staying fully present to my body, my experience, my moments, and choosing from an internally referenced place of being. Yeah. Yes. Fully yes. Yes. So yes, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that bring up for you? What if you just fully stopped in this moment, dropped into your body, asked yourself what it wants, and fully honored that? Please ask your body right now. Feel free to respond on Facebook. Respond later when you're watching the replay. If not externally responding, internally responding, at least ask yourself the question. It reminds me of an invitation I sent out back when Goddess Inc. was just a baby. And offering yourself an intuitively led day or moment or week, depending on the spaciousness of your life. And what that means is no shoulda, woulda, couldas. Moment to moment, check in, and fully live from a place of being present and internally referenced, and just following your intuition around your life. I absolutely, totally forgot about that invitation. I remember about that way of living because, thank Goddess, every day I live a little bit closer to that for myself. And that feels radical, rebellious. It is a game changer. It's been a game changer for me. It's been so permissive. Yeah. What does that look like for you, Facebook? What does that feel like for you? What does that get moving? and fully stay present to that. So if it's a nasty response inside your body, honor that. If it's a spacious response inside your body, honor that. No judgment, just recognize what moves for you. When I say take an intuitive day and just follow your intuition around your life, see what that opens up for you. That feels good inside my body. Yeah. So today's theme seems to be emotion and weather, and the call to let neither one dictate where I show up. I love when the words just fall out of my mouth. Showing up should not be contingent to your emotions or the weather. Just show up. Just show up and see where that takes you. My experience of emotions, my upbringing, what I have been taught is to put on a happy face, fake it till you make it, nobody wants to be dragged into your negativity, if you will. But if I live my life knowing that my life is about me and your life is about you, and I am sitting in a coffee shop, moving my emotions in the form of tears, and that evokes a response in your body, I would argue that that response is about you and not about me. And so if that response brings you great joy, awesome. Ride that wave. If that response brings you anger, ride that wave. If that response gives you permission to tap into your grief, your sorrow, your tears, ride that wave. But my recognition for self is I'm not sent here to coast. I'm not sent here to float. I'm not sent here to flatline those emotions. I am living the wave. I am the wave. I am now at a place where I can respect the wave as a wave. And sometimes when I'm fully immersed in the wave and I've gone under, I'm under. And I feel like I can't breathe. And I feel like I'll never get to take that breath again. And it can feel really sticky and real drowny and really suffocating. And it's a wave. It's a wave, and it's going to move you as far as you will let it. And this feels really profound to me because the day I ended up accidentally stoned out of my head, I was really fighting the waves, and that's another story. We'll fully embrace that story one day. But I was really fighting the waves, and in the moments of clarity, when I just softened my body, there would be so much moving through me, physically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole gamut. You could see the response fully. And it was a pivotal moment in my awareness. And all of those catchline phrases that I say, that it's not time until it's time, and you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, and blah 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 blah, all of those were like in that moment, just mind-blowingly clear in that moment. And the definite, clear definition of the fight against and the softening and the going with, and then the fight against and the softening and the going with, and the brilliance, the absolute bloody brilliance of our bodies and our minds, and the strength and the, if there was any doubt left in my mind about the spiritual aspect, the mind-body experience, the universe, the whatever labels, story, whatever you want to call that, if I had any doubt left in my body that every moment of my life is for my own evolution, it was blown out of the water that day. And let me tell you, I have orchestrated my life so tightly, there was really no possibility for me to end up accidentally stoned out of my head. So you can't even tell me that that wasn't beautifully orchestrated by the divine. And so thank you for that experience. It was a beautiful, full picture, full experience, 3D live version of Journey to Self. Fully alive, moment to moment, in the experience, riding the wave, feeling the emotion, knowing fully that everything that flows through my body is for my own experience, my own evolution, and it all has a purpose, and all I have to do is get out of my head, drop into my heart, and fully be immersed in that experience and stay present to it and not judge and allow, in the beauty of all of that. Yeah. I really have no idea where I was at the beginning of that, because I feel like I completely stand in a different place, even just telling that little snippet of the story. It again fully brings it back home to self in a new, I'm going to use the words on a cellular level. So it's unlocked yet another piece of my existence. And so last night in the red tent, which is an experience I offer here in Lethbridge, a place to just show up fully alive and in your body, dropping the roles and responsibilities of society. And so we were sitting there in circle doing our check-in, and one of the ladies said she feels like she's dragging and like all encompassed with this ancestral experience. And part of what we do when we open the circle in the red tent is honor our ancestral line. And so it was really profound to me in that moment. And I happen to know this woman is healing on all levels and all planes and so many ways, and it's really rocking her world. And just fully showing up and being present to that, and recognizing that some of the weight we carry isn't ours. And so whilst that doesn't necessarily lighten our load in the moment, it can offer something to the experience, I think. And even as she was saying those words and bringing in all that unspoken baggage that we all carry with us, I had said to my oldest son yesterday, we have a pot and pan rack, so we hang them up. So something had happened, so the pots banged, and it sounded, and I said out loud, that just sounded like the bell in town center that used to ring in our past life. And those were the words that just came out of my mouth, and I was just like, wow, like, wow. And he just kind of acknowledged it, and it wasn't profound in that moment, in terms of like, neither one of us acknowledged it as potentially a weird thing to say. We were just like, I'm a nurse. What's a scoop? What is a scoop? I don't know. What's a scoop? Yeah, like neither one of us acknowledged it as potentially a weird thing to say. We just kind of acknowledged it as, yeah, that totally just sounded like that. Huh. And carried on. But, reflecting upon it, and like, so as she was saying this about her experience, having it kind of click in my mind that I had said that day, and wow. I am always humbled and grateful for the connection and the knowing and the awareness and the ways in which I have changed my life around and brought it back to who I am and what I know and what I choose to do, and all about me. Yep, my life is all about me and my journey to how I got here. And fully staying present to that day in and day out. And wow. Yeah. So, yeah. So I want to be clear about my challenge to self. Bless you too. My challenge to self is staying present moment to moment, not allowing weather to dictate. Being that open invitation always to bring it back to where I'm at. And I extend that outward to all of you listening or watching, and staying fully present to your experience and your world, and recognizing where weather is dictating and where emotion is dictating, or where the food in your fridge is telling your body what it wants, or where your habitual responses are ruling your world, and where you're living on autopilot. Good morning, Christina. And get really curious, drop into your body, and start taking back those choices. Christina dropping in reminds me that Yesterday's red tent experience was one of the most soulful, body remembering, ancestral knowing, tapping into historical ways of connecting. One of the most profound experiences of my adult life. And it was just such a raw and real, potent experience. So the theme of last night's Red Tent was healing. And so I offered a guided meditation in which we connected to our healer selves and brought that forth and offered each other healing and offered ourselves healing. And it was this organic soul remembering of a way things used to be, and it touched a place in me that I don't often get the opportunity to go, even holding all of these beautiful, sacred, meaningful experiences. It still was like this next level way of being. And a few months ago, I sat in the red tent and said my intention moving forward was a place of just organic being and not a bunch of proper humans sitting on their cushion being respectful of space and making sure that they're not encroaching on another person's experience. I said I fully want the fetal position and the natural spooning that happens and the touch and the reaching over and honoring these body-led responses. And when you feel the pull, the intuitive guidance to lay your hands upon someone, honoring that. And last night was all of that. Just this beautiful coming together, self-honoring, soulful awakening, remembering experience of coming together in a way that used to be so ingrained and so natural and such a part of our way of being that isn't anymore. And it was so wonderful. We got it felt like we were healing. I know that we were healing before, now, and beyond. And I have this physical body response of gratitude and remembering, and like it was so potent and so powerful and so empowering that I know that each one of us is profoundly changed from that experience. And so for those of you who knew corporate Bobby and the physical response of ickiness that would flow through me in response to touch and strangers' touch, and like I could feel the tension just come back into my body. And that's the way in which I lived my life, and touching was not, like, I touched those that I loved dearly, but as for, like, strangers, that was, like, a deal breaker for me. And so the delicious open spaciousness in which I have fully changed, and it is such a different response in my body and such a soul remembering of a peaceful collective coming back together in community and just sharing that sisterhood of self. It's like this like this rebreath, this like life refreshing, soul enhancing. Holy Hannah, I don't even have words for all that transpired last night. And yeah, the knowledge of the ripple effect of that one is so wide and so far and so deep and so vibratory. It's, yeah, on so many levels, through so many planes of existence, through so many centuries. That was so needed and welcomed and wanted. And yes, so thank you all who were there in body, mind, spirit, however you were there. And I welcome all of you to watch this video and tap into that, because there's no doubt in my mind you have access to that. You have access to that knowing and that soul remembering. Just take a deep breath, drop from your head into your heart, and allow yourself to feel what it feels to be fully open to the experience of sharing in a group of souls so spacious and so expansive that you know without a shadow of a doubt that is touching you on all levels, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And then allow your hands to intuitively drop to your body wherever they need to be, because there is a brilliance to it. There is a soul remembering. There is a clarity and a healing happening. And it just feels so juicy and so right to come together in these ways and honor ourselves and in effect each other. I feel like I just experienced like this profound there's a word that starts with an O that I would use to explain the experience, but I don't know that it should be said on the radio. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And not that that's what happened, but on such a cellular, mental, emotional, physical level, I feel like I just experienced something so profound in front of all of you that it's like this exposed. Now I'm just sitting here raw and real in the afterglow of this experience, thinking, feeling that mind want to come in and be like, whoa, was that like just a weird thing that just happened? And fully being present to it. And yeah, so something really profound just happened inside of my body on air and on video. And you're welcome, I think. And just fully staying present to that experience and recognizing the rate and flow of my conversation and how it maps to the physical response in my body, and just allowing all of that energy to move through all of us and allow us to fully be immersed in that experience. So Jess FM, I'm going to break here for you to have a song, because I really, oh my goodness, I picked so many good ones, and then I shared my experience all through it. So I want to choose them all, but I don't have time to choose them all anymore. So I'm jumping on over, and oh, the computer's not responding. So clearly that's not supposed to happen in this moment. And so Jess FM, here you go. So Jess FM is currently listening to Sheryl Crow. The First Cut is the Deepest. I like to choose sometimes random songs that I've never heard that have a fun title that I feel somehow belong in the story. And sometimes they're just like ones that I can remember, like lip syncing to on the couch using the remote as a microphone. Some, with the window rolled down, just like belting it out. And some, just like the soul touchers on whatever level they seem to Oh no. Oh no. Thank you, Danica. Nothing was playing. So I wonder if the other song played. Well. Oh, Christina used to watch the video of this song over and over. Yeah, it's just good, right? And so when I was choosing this song, so it's Sheryl Crow, The First Cut is the Deepest. When I was choosing this song, I don't remember all of the words, but I remember likening it to relationships and stuff. And so when I chose it this morning, the relation in my body was more to the spiritual awakening. And I can laugh about that now because I'm on this side of a lot of those transformational waves that I honestly thought I was going to drown under. And so the recognition that, some of them are intense, and just riding that intensity and staying with it and fully staying present to the experience. Good grief, I wonder if they got to hear my first song. They probably didn't. Sorry. I never ever claimed that tech was my strong point, so that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I know this. And yeah. So this magical Monday, guys. How is it magical? How is it moving you? How's it presenting itself? Below the content, what's going on? Good question. Interesting. Yeah. I'm really aware of trying to balance the different ways in which I'm conversing with the world. And I'm sure there's a metaphor there somewhere. And the recognition that on no level do I aim for perfection. I aim for the experience, and staying present to it seems so much more profound than any level of perfection or rightness or wrongness or whatever that looks like. Welcome back, Jess FM. That was half the song of Sheryl Crow, The First Cut is the Deepest, with the recognition that you probably didn't even hear my first song, which was ABBA, Mamma Mia, and the profound joy that both of those songs bring me. Like every song I pick, most songs I pick somehow fit into my journey somewhere along the way. Except for the random ones I see that pop up that say, play me, they fit into your story somehow. And then I play them, and whether I know how they fit or where they fit or what that looks like, I don't really care. As long as they bring a smile to my face in the moment, that's typically what I aim for. So, I'm aware of the time and the wind down and the brilliance of the physical wind down that happens in my body. And so, yeah. I often think, after my show, when I'm, replaying the experience or whatever, I think of, I feel like I'm on a loop. And and maybe I am. Maybe it's the proverbial commercial where I recap my reality TV show, because that's what it feels like inside of my body. I don't know that I get that feeling when I go back and listen to them. I'm making a note to self to see if I feel like that's the way it is when I'm reliving it. But I'm aware of how that seems like that's the way that it is. Anyways. Yes. So this is Bobby Farrell on Journey to Self. Every week it's fully present, fully in flow to where I'm at, and to be honest, I've lost the script and I've lost even the notebook, because the days in which I stay fully present to my body and just allow the universe to guide me through my experience is the ones that seem to effortlessly flow. Just mindfully setting the intention that it be what it's meant to be, and it allows space for what it needs to allow space for. And that feels by far so much more for me in the experience. So I invite you to join me again next week for more of my journey. What's coming up this week? I have openings in my schedule for healing, spiritual consultation, psychic work, thermography, meta health, whatever you need. I rent office space over at Naturistas at 424 7th Street South. And yeah, I have a few openings left this week. And I feel so blessed to have this space in place to just play with all of the magic that is me. Coming up, there's a red tent on April 29th. The theme of that tent is dreams. We will intentionally speak of the guidance we're offered at night when we close our eyes. And May 1st, there's a radical forgiveness ceremony workshop. And coming up in May, I have an offering for young souls aged 9 to 12 on Wednesday evenings. A 4-part series of sacred self and coming home to self, and what that looks like and feels like, and so that will include meditations and art and songs and intuition, like tapping into that intuition, learning our intuition, intentionally talking about how that moves through us and what that looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like, whatever the heck, and that sacred self experience, geared towards 9 to 12-ish. So if you're looking for more information on any of that, you can find me on Facebook or at goddessinclusive.com. Check into those things. As always, it's been such a pleasure exploring myself on live radio and Facebook and YouTube. And just being fully present to this experience and this journey, and being witnessed in that, and so grateful for the witnessing of the experience. And so I send you off to a wonderful week of fully immersing yourself in your situation, and a reminder to myself that weather no longer dictates my experience, as emotions no longer dictate my experience. Hello. I choose to fully choose moment to moment from a place of inside of myself and what I need and want, and not necessarily what is presented as options for me. So, there you are. Later.